Hey everyone, Dana here, and today I'm in a video with Kati from Domino Kati. So the topic that we're talking about in this video brings both of us a little bit out of our comfort zone to talk about, in a video.
It is a bit out of my comfort zone, but I think it is important to talk about it. So we both kind of have the same opinion.
Exactly. It really annoys us that talking about this is a taboo
make us
topic.
comfortable.
Right, so we want to talk about it to try to break the taboo.
Yes.
Yeah, so exactly because it makes us uncomfortable, we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
So the first thing I'd like to ask is, did you learn about getting your period in school? How did that go for you? When did you learn about it? Was it a part of sex education or how was that?
So I did learn about it in school, and it was part of sex education. We had sex education twice during our school. Once in fourth grade, I think. Third or fourth. And then again in 7th or 8th grade. And then we found all about, sex education, but also how the female body works.
And when you learned about it, was it just the girls learning about menstruation and periods, or were the boys and the girls together in the classroom?
We were all together, boys and girls were both in the same room. And I remember that in 7th grade, the teacher said, well, it's important for all of you should know how the female body works.
For me, growing up in the US, I can remember learning about that also in maybe 4th grade, 5th grade. But for us, girls were taken into one room and we learned about our periods and menstruation and how our breasts would develop. And they also gave us deodorant. That was a part of that. They started talking about how now you're gonna sweat more. And that's when we got our first deodorant. That was part of that.
So since you're gonna have your menstruations, you're gonna sweat more.
Yeah, they said as you go through puberty, you'll start to sweat more. So here's a deodorant. That was when I was 9 or 10. They gave us a little baggie, a plastic bag. And inside of it was some information, some papers, and a kind of small travel size deodorant. And I'm not sure what the boys learned. They were taken aside and had their own course that the girls weren't a part of, but they also got a baggie that had deodorant as well.
We did get a bag too, I just remember that, with tampons and
Pads?
Pads, yeah. We did get that.
Okay, but no deodorant.
No deodorant.
Not part of
there was there was a little brochure it came with it, just for summing up what you learn in school.
But later on when we had sex education, they didn't mention it again. So, that was, for me, basically it. I had that when I was maybe 9, 10.
Oh, and never again?
No, that was it.
That is so interesting because that's too early because most girls have it when they're 12, 13, 14 for the first time. You would have to have a refresh.
Right. No, there was no refresh. Yeah, I would say I forgot about a lot of the information by the time I got my period because, it was a few years later. And so that kind of leads into then getting your period for the first time. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah. I think I had my period for the first time when I was 13.
Yeah, I think that was the same for me too. I think 13. Yeah.
I was one of the more later, for my class, I was not the first one to have it. So most of them had it, and I was a bit later than everyone else. So that was kind of weird for me because everyone was talking about it, and I remember we went on a trip, and then everyone, for some reason, basically every girl had it except me, and I had never had it, so I couldn't talk about it. So that was I kind of felt left out. Anyway.
I had the very similar experience. In the US, it's pretty common for some people to go to a sleepaway summer camp. I don't know how common those are here in Germany, but I went to a sleepaway summer camp for several weeks during the summer for a few years in there, and I went there and we had 10 other girls together in the same cabin, and most of them had their period and I did not, and I was one of the only ones. And at summer camp, I got my period for the first time. And you might think oh, well, that seems like a perfectly wonderful environment. And I was prepared. When we packed for me to go to summer camp, my parents gave me pads.
Your parents or your mom?
My mom.
Okay.
My mom. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It was my mom. Yeah, my mom made sure that I had some to take with me just in case. And then it happened. I remember I went to the bathroom and there was blood there. And even though I had learned about my period, I was still shocked. I didn't know because it was a few years earlier that I had learned about it, I was still like, oh my God, what is that? What's happening to me? Is it, I didn't think right away it's my period, I just, it didn't come to me. I was at first shocked, and I can remember coming back out of the bathroom and going up to my bed and sitting there, and I don't know if you can imagine this, Kati, but I was like one of the louder girls at camp, always excited and loud. The fact that I was sitting on my bed very quiet was a giveaway that something was up. So within a few minutes, the other girls started asking me like, Donna, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
Traumatized.
Yes, like I was really, and then one of them came and started talking to me, and I told her, I think I just got my period, but don't tell anyone. And she was like, don't worry, I won't. Donna just got her period,
No.
But the thing was, all the girls celebrated it with me. They all went, hey, yeah!
Okay,
and
that's cool.
Yeah, they all started grabbing tampons out of their bags and like celebrating with them, like throwing them in the air.
That sounds so cliche.
Totally American,
like
in a movie. Yeah. I tried to use the tampons, but it was not successful. Like I didn't.
Yeah, it's hard for the first few times you have it, and you kind of adjusting to the whole process itself that you have to like change every so hours, and then I know, and like trying something new is kind of weird.
Yeah. And that I was at camp, there was a lake and we would all go swimming, and now here I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And the whole tampon thing didn't really work right away, and I can remember then wearing a pad and being like, but I want to go swimming, and so I went swimming anyway with the pad on. And that was like so uncomfortable, but I really didn't want to be left out.
Like wearing a diaper.
It was, but I didn't want to be left out. I didn't want to be the only one sitting there like, I can't go in,
I think that's very cute.
We'd also love to hear about your experience. If you would like to share, please let us know down in the comments. Like, was it a scary experience? Did you know exactly what to do? You were expecting it? Were you a late bloomer or someone who got their period earlier? And how was that for you? Just let us know down in the comments.
I had some terrible traumatic things happen to me in high school where my period was just so heavy that I leaked through my pants and it went on the chair. And I felt so much shame about this. I felt just so wrong and bad and dirty, and just also the fact that women can't talk openly about their periods, I think is also very wrong.
I remember having this one of the worst experience of my life with the periods. I was in India. I remember I had got my periods and I was with a man. I asked him, could you please go quickly get me the pad? He said, how can you ask me to do that? I'm not going to go. It's such a shame for me to go ask this. No, I'm not going to go. He made a huge scene. I will never be able to forget that. Even today, in the villages, it is still a taboo, a big taboo. I see a lot of girls give up education once after they get their periods. The idea of pad is still not there, but it is getting better. But a lot of girls have lost education because of their periods. I used to cry whenever I used to get a period. No school, nothing. And then my mom, I remember she fought for me. She said, no, she's going to go to school, she's going to dance. And that was my mom's first ever pad.
I saw like tons of videos on YouTube, for example, how to hide a tampon in your bag so no one else would see it in school. I think that is kind of ridiculous. Now I don't feel like it's a taboo. I'm not like ashamed to talk about my period, but I feel like a lot of younger girls are sort of pushed into a position where it should be embarrassing to be on your period.
For me, growing up in the US, I really got the feeling that periods were something that a lot of men and boys were grossed out by. Like, and I got this message from my peers around me, from TV, movies, just society in general. I have even as an adult experienced it with, you know, like grown men talking to them about the subject and them really reacting to me like, oh, no, don't talk about periods. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Or like I made a few videos on my channel about period products in Germany and the US. And then there were comments like, oh, this, you know, girl topic. The thing is, just in general, just for any topic, I really hate when people say, well, it doesn't affect me, so I don't want to know anything about it. That's ridiculous.
And knowledge is so important. Like, even though you don't experience it, just knowing about it and like kind of feeling into the other's situation is so crucial.
Yeah. That made me feel like bad,
disgusting.
right? It made me feel like something about me was so disgusting that I couldn't talk about it, that I needed to hide my tampons in my sleeve when I walked around, like, oh no, I don't want to let any of the boys know that I have a period. And I felt bad talking about it with any boys that I was chatting with.
So I think with me, I don't remember a boy specifically saying, "Ugh, this is disgusting." I remember like on like class trips, I think they were kind of like interested. I think it was kind of a topic for both boys and girls being interested in it. But since you said, well, I'm kind of hiding everything, I kind of still do it. And that just made me feel like, ugh.
Right.
Like, for example, I don't know, in my college or something, like if I have to go to the bathroom, I would kind of like, I'm just grabbing a pencil from my bag.
Yeah.
And then just, I don't know, hiding it or like secretly putting it in your pockets.
Right.
How stupid is that?
Yeah.
I just realized, like, I still do it. It's kind of something secret, like, oh, like I don't want them to see, like, that.
And is it that you don't want
It's
girls
so
to see it, or
subconscious.
boys, or everyone? Like,
I would care less if it was a girl. Oh, yeah. But kind of everyone, I guess. But I don't know why I still do it.
yeah, because it's in our society that it's like something that we should for some reason be ashamed of, which we shouldn't, because it's just a natural part of life. That's just a natural part of the world, and it shouldn't be something that
I agree. Yeah.
we feel is taboo or anything like that.
And also I was just thinking about period cramps. Like I get really, really bad period cramps every single month. It's gotten to the point where I almost have to throw up. Like my back hurts. It's like 3 or 4 days in a row. Like it's pretty bad. I kind of push through it, and even though I feel like absolute shit, like it's very painful, like I kind of don't want to tell people if I'm like, even though like I'm okay with girls, but if I would have like a business meeting, you wouldn't say that, I guess. But if you're in a situation where you would have to explain to someone, I'm in pain right now, I wouldn't. If you feel bad because you have a headache, you would tell people, like, I'm sorry if I'm not myself today. Yeah. I'm this and that.
Right.
And I feel like I wouldn't say, I'm on my period, I feel like shit, I want to go home, I want to lay down and roll myself into a ball. Yeah. I wouldn't. I would kind of push through and be in pain.
If you go to the store to buy period products, like, does that make you uncomfortable?
Yes, definitely. And I hate it. Why does it do that? Like, I'm 23. I've had my periods for like 10 years now. Yeah. It's still, I mean, it's getting better. It's not super awkward, but I used to like actually hide it and like don't go to a guy at the cashier and I don't know. Is it the same with you or?
No.
Was it the same with you?
Maybe when I was a teenager. And I will say I also was nervous to ask my dad at first, just because I had heard from the whole society, it felt like, that guys were going to be disgusted by this or they didn't want to know about this. And so at first when I started to need more period products, I can remember being really nervous. And in my family, my dad is the one that does the shopping. So I had to ask him because he's the one that buys the stuff. And I remember,
never asked my dad.
But, so I was nervous to do it. Dad, I need what? I can't hear. Dad, I need what? Speak up! I can't hear. I need pads, Dad. Okay, fine. And he was chill. He didn't care. He just put it on the list. Pads.
I do think it's getting better and better though. I think lots of girls would actually ask their boyfriend or husband to go and get some tampons if you feel like crap and stay at home and don't want to see anyone. I think it's getting better. With like younger generations.
I just think it's 2019. It is time for it to stop being a stigma. And if we talk about it more, maybe we can also get better period products, you know? Like if it becomes less of a taboo.
Did you hear about the tax situation in Germany? So on period products, it's a tax. Like normal taxes is like 19% for everything. And for food, for example, and like stuff you need in everyday life, it's 6% or 7. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's, well, something around that. And so we always had to pay like 20% of taxes on period products, which we can't, like, I'm sorry, I have it, but it's just normal.
So that means that they were like categorizing it as a non-necessary item.
Yes, and like luxury products, that's what they're actually called.
Yeah.
Luxury products. There was a big petition going on, and like lots of influencers and YouTubers and people were sharing it, and now they actually decided for it to be like the reduced tax, which is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not a luxury item. It is a necessary item.
Yes. Sorry.
Absolutely necessary.
So I think that's great. I mean, we're developing.
But this was also like, for example, with the iPhones and stuff like that they brought out that health app, and they were like, there's a health app and it can track so many things. And for so many versions of it, it didn't track the menstrual cycle.
I've never thought about that, but you're right.
And it's like, okay, really? You bring out this thing and it can track so many things.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're having our period every month. That's like one of the main things that we would need to track. And for many versions, it didn't have it. It's
wow.
Like, come on.
Does it now? Or is it
It has it now.
Get more ladies in leadership positions of health apps so you don't.
Yes, more ladies
that doesn't happen again,
in leadership positions in all sectors.
Yes.
Another thing I wanted to ask you is, as far as like any slang terms go for period, what can you think of in German or in English? Because actually period is a slang as well for menstruation.
Yeah.
So we have period.
Okay, so I think the most common thing Germans say is I have my Tage, which is days. I used to say rote Tante, which is like red aunt.
Yeah. And in English we have Aunt Flo.
Oh.
Aunt Flo is coming to town, or Aunt Flo is visiting.
Yeah.
Let us know down in the comments if there are some more in English or German or any other language. Like, what are some of the slang terms? And I think these terms are cool and fun, but on the other hand, they do remind that we don't feel comfortable to say menstruation. You know, having these other words to hide it. It reminds that it's a taboo topic.
Like you have to find nicknames for it.
Right, exactly. We don't have a million nicknames for headaches because we just say we have a headache.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I think the words can also, though, form bonds between girls because, you know,
because they
it's
know
like a
what you're
secret
talking
code.
about.
Yes,
that's true.
It's a secret language that you're talking. So
our
our question for you is, of course, we are just two people and these were our experiences with it, but I can imagine that so many different people have lots of different experiences. Please let us know your experiences with it in as much as you're comfortable talking about it and help break the taboo. Please let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and a really big thank you, Kati, for joining me in this video.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great.
Don't forget to check out Kati's channel as well. I'll put a little subscribe button over here, and I will link to her Instagram and her channel down in the description box below. My Instagram as well. If you enjoyed this video, you can hit that like button. You can also share the video, you know, help break the taboo of talking about periods. Oh, and don't forget that this video is part of a larger series of videos, so I'll link to that playlist over there as well. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen!